Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 70 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit, and where I get into other crafting shenanigans. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. It is Saturday, June the 26th, 2021, and we've got a gorgeous summer day. It's hot out there. It's in the upper 80s. I'm thankful for air conditioning. Let's just leave it at that. I am thankful for air conditioning. So I've got a fair bit of knitting done this past week. I was tied up in virtual conference stuff Monday through Thursday. 3 of those days I was tied up from 11 till 6 each day, the first 3 days. Then Thursday I didn't have quite as many hours. I only had three little hour sessions scattered through the day, which in general gave me lots of time to sit and stare at the computer screen and knit. I have been finding though that my hands are starting to ache, and I'm starting to this finger. I think I'm starting to develop a trigger finger problem on this finger. It's starting to catch. I don't know if you can see that. It's not going to do it now. No, it won't do it now. Now that I'm trying to show you, it won't do it. That's okay. But it does wake me up quite often during the night. It's starting to hurt. And I might have to go and get it looked at if it continues. If it gets worse, I'll definitely need to go and have it looked at by an orthopedic surgeon. I've had the same problem on this thumb and this pinky, and I've had the tendon release surgery on both of those, and now I'm starting to think this one might be going too. And I say I'll wake up in the middle of the night. I don't know why it's worse. They tend to be worse during the night. I don't know and understand why that is, but anyway. So this week coming up, I might slow down a little bit on my knitting. I have some school research stuff to get going on. I'm doing some work with a colleague of mine, and these past 3 weeks with conference stuff, I have not managed to get much research stuff done. So I really do need to get focused on that a little bit more this upcoming week. So there might not be quite as much to show you next week, but I'll hold off judgment till then and see where I'm at. So in the past week, I have managed to, I have a hoe, and I have an update on what my dilemma was with possibly running out of yarn. These are the sea scallops. It's a design by SLM Designs, and it's the warm-up sock for the Super Sock World Championship knitting thing. It's a group over on Ravelry, and it's an offshoot extension reincarnation. I'm not sure which is exactly the best word for it, but it grew, this particular thing grew out of Tour de Sock, which ran for several years before it went on hiatus. And they've revived it and are running a variation of it this summer. So the warm-up pattern came out, I think on the 15th of June. The first pattern for the competition will come out on July the 1st. So I really do want to have these guys done by the 1st of July so that I can make a decision whether, who am I kidding? I'll cast on probably the round 1 socks. But anyways, last week I just had an itty bitty toe, or a teeny tiny toe. That's about all I had, was up to this marker on the toe. So I just had a teensy bit done. So I managed to finish the first sock, They are shorty socks, so it's not, I haven't done much to shorten them a lot. And I've got a good solid start on the second sock since I last saw you. I was making these out of leftover yarn from one of my Sock Madness pair, and I was fearful that I was going to run out of yarn. I had 49 grams of the orange yarn, and what I did was I knit up to the beginning of the heel and I weighed it, and then I finished the heel and I weighed the yarn, and I kept doing that until I got to using almost half of the skein, or half of the ball of yarn I had. So of the 49, I used 24 grams on the orange on here. And then I just took some leftover bare yarn that I had to do the cuff. So the sock is slightly modified. The leg portion is a little bit shorter than the pattern calls for, and the cuff is a little bit longer than the pattern called for. So overall I haven't even measured it, but I'm probably quite close to the full measurement of what it should be from the heel to the top of the cuff. They work from the toe up, which is not my usual way of knitting socks. If I'm making my own decision on which direction I knit socks, I typically prefer to start at the cuff and work down. And that's only because the first pair of socks I ever knit were cuff down. And I've just run across more cuff down patterns and really did get the hang of cuff down first. So it's basically the method I'm more comfortable with doing. It had a fun heel. There's a little bit of a mini gusset that is done, and then short rows to turn the heel, and then it also has a mini heel flap. And then you go back into the C scallop design. The cuff has a cute little faux cable design on it. It's a cute cuff. I like it. I think it looks really nice. And I did I never get this name right. Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Cast Off. Is that right? If I'm wrong, I'll fix it and I'll write down the proper name. So first sock is done, and I'm moving along nicely on the second sock. So hopefully when you see me next week, I will have the second sock finished, and hopefully I'll have had a chance to cast on the round one socks for, I almost called it Tour de Sock, for the Super Sock World Championship. So I had to look at the name of the group, because I'm not used to talking about it quite yet. So I spent a fair bit of time working on those socks this week. So those are the Sea Scallops by SLM Designs. And I also did a fair bit of work on my Madeline Socks. So this is a design by Kate Poe, and it was the Sock Madness 15 round 6 design. And I think they're so pretty. Last I showed you, I was here, so I haven't done a lot, but I have added a couple inches, almost a couple inches to it. And I'm at the point where I have added in the waste yarn for my afterthought heel. And I'm ready to start working down the foot now. So I still have another 50 or 60 rounds to go on the foot, and then I need to add in the heel flap and do the toe, and that's on the first sock. These ones are going to take me a while to finish. As soon as Sock Madness finished up, my motivation to really knit these like a crazy woman, that motivation has faded a lot. A lot. So I have made some progress. I did stall for a while once I put in the waste yarn for the afterthought heel, and I had to have a think about how to restart up the ladder back jacquard thing for the second half of the heel. So I have a bunch of little markers. I don't know if I did this right even. I'm just crossing my fingers that I've done this properly. I'll probably cry if I did it wrong. But I have markers on the ladder back pieces that will be at the top of coming down the leg, and then I've restarted the ladder back on the underside of the foot, the sole side of the foot part of it, so that when I take the waste yarn out and start working around on the heel flap, or not the heel flap, the heel turn, it should be okay. And I should have my ladder back jacquard set up so that it will continue going down the back of the leg, down to on the back of the heel, and it will go from the bottom of the foot back up here to meet at the bottom of the end of the edge of the heel. I think I have myself convinced that I've done it okay. If not, I will not be a happy girl. I might knit for a while on the foot and then go back and do the heel turn, or the afterthought heel, just so I know that I've done it okay or not. I'm not sure if I want to get all the way to the toe and then come back and find out that I messed it up. We'll see. Stay tuned, we'll see. I'm hoping to get a fair bit of progress done on these as well this week. We shall see. So that's been it for my knitting this week. I really slowed down on the Madeline Socks once I put in the waste yarn, because whenever I would get ready to start contemplating how to do the continue after I'd added the waste yarn, it was either after I'd been sitting staring at the computer screen and thinking about conference stuff for 6 hours and my brain was just, I was short-circuiting. I thought, no, I have no concentration power left at that time of the day. And when it was in the morning, I had other things on the go, and I just started working on it and just did that setup just this afternoon before I got on camera. So I think I'll work on that more tonight and get going on the foot portion and see how it goes. So I'm hoping to have a fair bit to show you on both those pair of socks come next week. The yarn I'm using for Madeline is, the white is a bear yarn, and the purpley blue is a yarn I dyed myself. The orange I was using for sea scallops is also a yarn I dyed myself, and the white is a bear yarn. Both of them I'm using 2.25 millimeter needles. So that's for sock yarn and sock knitting, that is my go-to needle size. I tend to get the gauge I should have when I use 2.25 millimeter or US size 1. I tend to match the gauge I'm supposed to have that's listed in the pattern. So that is my go-to sock knitting size. And I think this might be a shorter episode today. We went out and did a bit of shopping. Well, we went out and did a bit of shopping yesterday, and we stopped at a farmer's market a little ways away from where we live, and we picked up some fresh asparagus, some fresh little baby garden potatoes, and some corn on the cob. So supper tomorrow night is going to be corn on the cob, asparagus, and fresh baby potatoes. I'm so looking forward to that. It just sounds so yummy. I just love once the things start coming out, the fresh produce starts coming out in the farmers markets. I love that. And this morning we went out to our little farmers market just up the road from us, and we got a breakfast. There's a place that sells peach iced tea. Oh my gosh, it is so good. It is so good. I'm convinced they must make it with a big jug of iced tea, and then they dump in a can of peaches, heavy syrup and all. It's sweet and it tastes, oh, it's so good. It's so good. The first time we went, we bought one, and after we were to share between the hubby and I, and after we were done, we're just like, yeah, next week we're each getting our own. I was like, I don't want to share. Neither of us wanted to share next week. And it's bad because my husband, when he gets a drink with like a beverage with his meal, he drinks it fast. And I want to savor it and save it have some for when I'm finished eating. Any kind of like either water, soda, any of those kind of drinks like that. He chugs them down so fast when he's eating. So if we share, I'm always nagging at him to slow down, save me some. So we just decided we're getting our own, each getting our own iced tea. And so we had a breakfast out at the market, and I got a new little bouquet of flowers. They did not have any of the little baby ones at the booth we usually go to. But there was another one that had little bouquets, or this is like a little bit bigger one. And it had this gorgeous hydrangea, which, I don't know if a hydrangea is actually a really good cut flower because it's really wilty just from this morning. And the little, is that a daisy? And these other guys, whatever this purple stuff is. And these yellow guys. Are those a brown eye Susan? I don't know my flowers. I just know that's a hydrangea. I just know that that's a hydrangea. That much I do know. So this is really, really pretty little bouquet. So that just smells dusty. If I sneeze, it's my own fault. So that's my little bouquet this week. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be having a little bouquet of flowers each and every week, but for now, I'm enjoying it. So I think that's about it this week. So I was busy with conference stuff and working on those 2 sock patterns. And that's about it. That's about all I've got done. I have not touched Demyakalopa in several weeks. It might be getting closer to a month now since I worked on Demyakalopa. I'm way behind on my Advent garland mittens. I think I should be on 14 and I'm still working on 12, or 11 and I should be on 13 by now. I need to get back at those again and play catch up on those guys. But it'll come. I'll get to it. But I find that I'm up to 4 whips, and yeah, 4 is getting to be too many for my liking. I find that I don't divide up my time across 4 different projects regularly enough. 2 or 3 I'm okay, but I think 4 is the tipping point that it doesn't work for me anymore. Oh well, it's not the end of the world. Each of these projects will get finished. I have no fear on that. But otherwise, I don't think I know too much else. I best get going and stay tuned next week and see what I've got up to. See if I've cast on another pair of socks with the former Tour de Sock knitting. If I started round 1, I probably will. I Yeah, I probably will cast those on, but we shall see. Alrighty, so I think I will let you go. It's a little bit shorter episode today. That's fine. Take care, everyone. If you haven't yet, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and like this video. It helps to get a few more people to notice my little itty bitty channel. So I'd appreciate that very much. When I see the subscription numbers increase slowly one by one, it just makes my day. It really does. It makes my day. It makes me so happy. So anyway, I best get going. Take care, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.